What if the world of Harry Potter is hiding more than it ever revealed? Is it the spells, the friendships, or the battles that keep us returning? Or is it the feeling that something is still unsolved? Beneath every scene lies a layer of truth not yet explained. From ancient halls to hidden prophecies, secrets have shaped the story in ways most never noticed. In this video, we explore theories that challenge what you thought you knew. Whether you are new to the series or know every line by heart, this will change your view. Let us begin with the lost magic of the Deathly Hallows. The lost magic of the Deathly Hallows. The story of the Deathly Hallows begins with a tale found in the Tales of Beedle the Bard. This story was passed down through wizarding generations and became widely known in the wizarding world. According to the tale, 3 brothers met death on a bridge and were each given a magical item. These 3 items were the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Invisibility Cloak. Each of these hallows represented power over a part of life. The Elder Wand represented strength in battle. The Resurrection Stone offered the ability to bring back the dead. The Invisibility Cloak allowed someone to escape death by remaining unseen. The Hallows were believed by many to be fictional. However, facts within the wizarding world later confirmed that the Hallows did exist and played a major role in the events that followed. The Elder Wand first appeared in historical records under the name the Wand of Destiny. It was said to be unbeatable in duels. Its power was tied to its master. The wand passed through many hands, often violently, and was last officially known to be in the possession of Gellert Grindelwald in the early 20th century. Grindelwald stole the wand from the wandmaker Gregorovitch. Later, in 1945, Albus Dumbledore defeated Grindelwald in a legendary duel and took possession of the wand. The wand remained with Dumbledore until his death in 1997. After that, it was believed to belong to Draco Malfoy, who disarmed Dumbledore. However, Harry Potter later disarmed Draco, making Harry the true master of the wand, according to wand lore. Harry used the Elder Wand briefly, but eventually returned it to Dumbledore's tomb, hoping its power would end with him. The Resurrection Stone was hidden for generations. It was mounted in a ring once worn by Marvolo Gaunt, a descendant of Salazar Slytherin. The ring was later turned into a Horcrux by Tom Riddle, also known as Lord Voldemort. The Horcrux was discovered by Albus Dumbledore, who attempted to destroy it. When Dumbledore put on the ring, the cursed object severely damaged his hand. The curse could not be fully stopped, and it led to his planned death. The Resurrection Stone remained hidden inside a snitch that Harry inherited from Dumbledore. Harry later used it in the Forbidden Forest before facing Voldemort, summoning the spirits of his parents, Sirius Black and Remus Lupin. After this moment, Harry dropped the stone, and it was lost in the forest. The Invisibility Cloak was passed down through the generations of the Peverell family. Ignatus Peverell, the youngest of the 3 brothers in the original tale, was believed to be the first known owner. The cloak was inherited by his descendants, and eventually passed to James Potter. James used it during his time at Hogwarts and later gave it to Albus Dumbledore for safekeeping. In December 1991, Dumbledore anonymously returned it to Harry Potter during his first year at Hogwarts. The cloak played a major role in many events throughout the series, including Harry's journey to find the Philosopher's Stone, the escape from the Ministry of Magic, and the final battle at Hogwarts. The idea that the 3 Peverell brothers in the story were real was confirmed when Harry visited the grave of Ignatus Peverell in Godric's Hollow. the symbol of the Deathly Hallows also became important. It was worn by Grindelwald during his rise to power and was carved into Dumbledore's childhood home. The Hallows represented the quest for power and control over life and death. Each Hallow had its own unique properties and dangers. The Elder Wand encouraged violence because it could only be won through conquest. The Resurrection Stone brought sorrow because the dead could never truly return. The Invisibility Cloak, however, was a tool of wisdom and survival. The Hallows were never united under one person until Harry Potter, although briefly, Harry possessed all three. He became the true master of the Elder Wand, held the Resurrection Stone, and wore the Invisibility Cloak. However, unlike others who sought the Hallows for power, Harry chose to give them up. He returned the wand, dropped the stone, and kept the cloak only as a family heirloom. His actions reflected a rejection of the desire to conquer death. This decision also aligned with the deeper message of the tale from Beedle the Bard. In terms of magical function, the Elder Wand was made of elder wood with a thestral tail hair core. It was one of the most powerful wands ever created. The Resurrection Stone had limited magical use. It could not bring back the dead but could summon echoes or shadows of people who had passed away. These echoes could not interact with the world but could offer comfort. The Invisibility Cloak was unique because its magic did not wear off over time. Other cloaks were created using disillusionment charms or spells, but they faded or lost effectiveness. The Peveril Cloak maintained its power for generations, without fading. Many fans believe the Hallows connect to the larger theme of choices. Each object tested the person who used it. Power, grief, and caution were central elements. The story shows how magical items are not just tools. They reveal character and intent. Voldemort only wanted the Elder Wand. He ignored the other Hallows. This single-minded quest contributed to his downfall. Dumbledore sought all three at different points in his life. He admitted this desire led to mistakes. Harry, however, did not seek them. They came to him as part of his journey. His choices in how to use them changed the course of the story. The Hallows also link closely to wand lore. A wand chooses its master, but the Elder Wand obeys power. This wand could only be fully controlled by someone who took it from its previous master. It would not perform properly for someone who merely stole it. This rule played an important role in the final events of the series. Voldemort failed to understand this, which led to the Elder Wand not working for him during the Battle of Hogwarts. Harry understood that true mastery was not about violence, but about loyalty and restraint. The impact of the Deathly Hallows on wizarding history is significant. The objects shaped the lives of some of the most powerful wizards. They contributed to major events, including the fall of Grindelwald, the death of Dumbledore, and the defeat of Voldemort. The Hallows challenged the idea of power and its limits. They also highlighted the value of choice in the use of magical tools. While many wizards throughout history believed the Hallows were legend, the evidence shown through the lives of Harry, Dumbledore, and others proved otherwise. These objects existed. They changed lives. They were part of the foundation of modern magical understanding. In summary, the Deathly Hallows are three magical items with different powers and purposes. They were first introduced in a wizarding fairy tale but later confirmed as real. Each item has a long history with recorded owners and visible impacts on the wizarding world. Their presence affected major events and helped define the outcome of the Second Wizarding War. Harry Potter was the only person to hold all three and chose to give up their power. This marked a turning point in magical history. The Hallows remain a key subject of study for magical scholars, and a lasting reminder of how ancient magic still shapes the present. Dumbledore's final plan begins at Godric's Hollow. What begins in a small village ends up affecting the entire wizarding world. What was really set in motion the night Harry Potter's parents died? Godric's Hollow is one of the oldest known wizarding communities in Britain. It is located in the West Country of England and is named after Godric Gryffindor. It holds historical importance due to several notable wizards being born or having lived there. These include Godric Gryffindor, Bathilda Bagshot, and the Potter family. On the night of the 31st of October 1981, Voldemort entered the home of James and Lily Potter in Godric's Hollow. He killed both parents and attempted to kill their son, Harry. However, the curse rebounded and destroyed Voldemort's body. This event became known as the downfall of Voldemort and marked the end of the First Wizarding War. Many people believe the event happened because of Lily Potter's sacrificial protection. Others later speculated that deeper magical protections may have been involved. Albus Dumbledore was not present in Godric's Hollow that night. However, the events of that night were central to a larger plan he had already begun shaping. Dumbledore knew about the prophecy made by Sybil Trelawney in 1980. The prophecy stated that a child born at the end of July to parents who had thrice defied Voldemort would have the power to defeat him. Dumbledore heard part of the prophecy through Severus Snape, who passed it to Voldemort. Dumbledore suspected Voldemort would act on this information and target one of the children. When Voldemort chose Harry instead of Neville Longbottom, Dumbledore realized that Harry's connection to Voldemort was now tied to that prophecy. After Voldemort's defeat at Godric's Hollow, Dumbledore took control of the situation. He arranged for Hagrid to take Harry from the wreckage of the Potter home and bring him to the Dursleys. He made this decision not out of sentiment, but because he needed to use a blood protection charm. By placing Harry with Petunia Dursley, Lily's sister, the protection of Lily's blood could continue until Harry came of age. Dumbledore's actions show careful planning based on magical law and prophetic knowledge. He also knew that Harry must not grow up famous. Dumbledore understood that a childhood out of the spotlight would prepare Harry for what lay ahead. Dumbledore also secured control of the Elder Wand after defeating Gellert Grindelwald in 1945. He kept the wand hidden in plain sight. He later used it in his larger plan to control the fate of the 3 Deathly Hallows. He believed the Hallows were real and must not be united under the wrong hand. His decision to withhold information about the Hallows from Harry was part of his long-term plan. Dumbledore also placed the cursed ring of Marvolo Gaunt into a secure location at Hogwarts after it damaged his hand. He knew the ring contained a Horcrux and was also the Resurrection Stone, one of the Hallows. He used his remaining time to prepare Harry and others to destroy the Horcruxes. He instructed Severus Snape to kill him at the right moment to preserve Draco Malfoy's soul and to ensure the Elder Wand would not pass to Voldemort. Dumbledore also left Harry a series of items in his will that connected to the Hallows. These were the snitch containing the Resurrection Stone, the Sword of Gryffindor, and the tales of Beedle the Bard. Each item had a specific purpose in his overall plan. The night at Godric's Hollow began the process of Harry becoming a Horcrux. This event also started Dumbledore's long path to ensure Harry's survival and eventual sacrifice. Dumbledore believed that only through sacrifice could the curse be broken. He also believed in free will and gave Harry the information to choose his path. By the time Harry visited Godric's Hollow with Hermione in December 1997, he had already discovered the grave of his parents and the connection to Bathilda Bagshot. He learned more about the past of Dumbledore and Grindelwald. This made him question Dumbledore's intentions, but later helped him understand the full scope of the plan. Godric's Hollow became the symbolic and actual beginning of Voldemort's first fall and Dumbledore's endgame. Every decision after that night followed a strategic path. The plan involved magical protection, controlled information, use of prophecy, and calculated sacrifice. Dumbledore also relied on trust and loyalty from those around him, including Snape, McGonagall, and Hagrid. All the facts in this chain of events connect to established canon from the books, films, and extended writings by J.K. Rowling. Supplementary sources like Pottermore and interviews confirm that Dumbledore had deep knowledge of magical law, especially blood magic and wand lore. These informed his every move. In summary, the events of the 31st of October 1981 were not random. They marked the beginning of a long and detailed strategy. Dumbledore understood that Voldemort's destruction would not come from power alone, but from self-sacrifice, choice, and understanding of ancient magic. The plan was set in motion at Godric's Hollow, and every step afterward was shaped to prepare Harry for his role. Snape's love story that shaped the wizarding world. Severus Snape was born on the 9th of January, 1960 in Spinner's End, a poor neighborhood in an industrial town in England. His father, Tobias Snape, was a muggle, and his mother, Eileen Prince, was a witch. His childhood was marked by conflict, which led to an early interest in the dark arts. At the age of 11, Snape began attending Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. He was sorted into Slytherin House. Before his arrival at Hogwarts, he had already developed a close friendship with Lily Evans, a Muggle-born girl who would later become the mother of Harry Potter. Their friendship started in childhood, when Snape noticed Lily's magical abilities and introduced her to the wizarding world. During their time at Hogwarts, Snape's friendship with Lily became strained due to his interest in the dark arts and his growing association with future Death Eaters. In contrast, Lily was sorted into Gryffindor House and formed friendships with students who opposed Snape's beliefs and behavior. One of those students was James Potter. James often bullied Snape during their school years, further increasing tensions. In their 5th year, an incident took place where Snape called Lily a mudblood, a highly offensive term used against Muggle-born witches and wizards. This insult caused Lily to end their friendship permanently. Despite this, Snape never stopped loving her. After Hogwarts, Snape joined Lord Voldemort's followers, the Death Eaters. He became skilled in potion-making and spellcraft and gained favor among the ranks. In 1980, a prophecy made by Sybil Trelawney was partially overheard by Snape during an interview at the Hogshead Inn. He reported the prophecy to Voldemort, unaware that it would lead to the targeting of Lily's family. The prophecy stated that a child born at the end of July would have the power to defeat the Dark Lord. Voldemort believed the child was Harry Potter and decided to kill him. When Snape realized that Voldemort planned to kill Lily, he pleaded with him to spare her life. Voldemort refused. Snape then turned to Albus Dumbledore and asked him to protect Lily. In return, Snape agreed to act as a double agent. Despite Dumbledore's efforts, Lily was killed on the 31st of October, 1981, along with her husband James. Harry survived due to the magical protection his mother's sacrifice provided. After her death, Snape committed fully to Dumbledore's side. He promised to protect Harry throughout his life. He also swore never to reveal his continued love for Lily. This love became the foundation of Snape's loyalty to Dumbledore and his opposition to Voldemort. In 1991, Harry Potter began his first year at Hogwarts. Snape was the potions master and a member of the Slytherin house staff. From the beginning, Snape appeared to dislike Harry. He often criticized him in class and deducted points from Gryffindor. However, unknown to Harry, Snape was working behind the scenes to protect him. During Harry's first year, Snape tried to counteract Professor Quirrell's efforts to harm him during a Quidditch match. In later years, Snape continued to provide secret assistance, such as warning the Order of the Phoenix about Voldemort's plans and protecting students from danger. In 1996, Albus Dumbledore asked Snape to make an unbreakable vow with Narcissa Malfoy. The vow required Snape to protect Draco Malfoy and, if necessary, kill Dumbledore in Draco's place. Dumbledore was already dying due to a cursed injury from the Resurrection Stone, which had been hidden in Marvolo Gaunt's ring. He wanted his death to be on his own terms. Snape agreed. On the 30th of June, 1997, Snape fulfilled the vow by killing Dumbledore during the Battle of the Astronomy Tower. He escaped the school and resumed his position as Voldemort's trusted servant. He was later appointed headmaster of Hogwarts in 1997. Throughout the final year of the Second Wizarding War, Snape worked to protect students while maintaining the illusion of loyalty to Voldemort. He placed the sword of Godric Gryffindor in the Forest of Dean, where Harry later found it with the help of Severus's Patronus. Snape's Patronus was a doe, the same as Lily Evans. This connection was revealed in a memory given to Harry after Snape's death. During the Battle of Hogwarts on May 2, 1998, Voldemort killed Snape in the Shrieking Shack. He believed Snape had become the master of the Elder Wand, which Voldemort had stolen from Dumbledore's tomb. Before dying, Snape gave Harry his memories, which revealed his true allegiance and the reasons behind his actions. The memory revealed that Snape's actions had always been motivated by his love for Lily. From the moment she died, he committed to protecting her son. He followed Dumbledore's orders, passed along information to the Order of the Phoenix, and risked his life on multiple occasions. He never asked for recognition or reward. This information changed how Harry viewed Snape. After the war ended, Harry ensured that Snape's portrait was placed in the headmaster's office at Hogwarts. He also named one of his children Albus Severus Potter, stating that Snape was one of the bravest men he had ever known. Snape's love story had several impacts on the wizarding world. First, it provided Dumbledore with a loyal spy inside Voldemort's ranks. This allowed the Order to anticipate and prepare for attacks. Second, Snape's actions protected Harry and ensured he could complete his mission to destroy Voldemort's Horcruxes. Third, Snape's true story added complexity to the idea of good and evil in the wizarding world. He was a former Death Eater who changed sides and worked to undo his past mistakes. This showed that redemption was possible even for those who had committed serious wrongs. Snape's background in potion making and spell creation also left a legacy. He created spells such as Sectum Sempra and Levicorpus, which were recorded in his old textbook. These spells were used during Harry's 6th year and demonstrated Snape's skill as a wizard. His knowledge of occlumency and legilimency made him valuable in hiding his true thoughts from Voldemort. He taught Harry occlumency during the 5th year, although the lessons were difficult and often ended in conflict. Despite their differences, Snape remained committed to his promise until the end of his life. The facts about Snape's character were confirmed through various sources. The memories shown in the pensieve came directly from Snape himself. Interviews with J.K. Rowling also confirmed that Snape's love for Lily was the defining aspect of his life. She described him as a complicated character with both heroic and flawed traits. Snape's role in the series was kept secret until the final book, making the revelation more impactful. His arc added depth to the narrative and highlighted the importance of unseen sacrifices. In conclusion, Severus Snape's love for Lily Evans influenced many events in the wizarding world. From his childhood friendship with her to his final moments, this connection shaped his choices. His role as a double agent helped the Order of the Phoenix and protected Harry Potter throughout his life. His actions were based on loyalty, regret, and a desire to make amends. Snape's legacy continues to be studied and discussed by fans and scholars alike. His story is one of the most detailed and complex in the Harry Potter series, showing how personal relationships can shape the course of history. The Founders and the Secrets Buried Beneath Hogwarts. What if the school that trained generations of witches and wizards was hiding the intentions of its very creators? In the 10th century, during the medieval period in Great Britain, 4 powerful witches and wizards came together to establish an institution for magical education. Their names were Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. The location chosen was a remote part of Scotland, and the castle was constructed with the aid of magic. It was named Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Each founder brought a specific philosophy and criteria for selecting students. Godric Gryffindor valued bravery and courage. Helga Hufflepuff accepted students who showed hard work, patience, and loyalty. Rowena Ravenclaw sought intelligence and wisdom. Salazar Slytherin preferred students who were ambitious and pure blood. Together, they created the 4 houses that continue to define student life at Hogwarts. The Sorting Hat, originally owned by Gryffindor, was enchanted with their combined judgment and was used to sort students into houses. The founders worked together for many years, but a dispute arose over the inclusion of Muggle-born students. Salazar Slytherin believed that only those from magical families should be allowed to study at Hogwarts. The others disagreed. This conflict led to Slytherin's departure from the school. Before leaving, Salazar Slytherin created a hidden chamber known as the Chamber of Secrets. It was located deep beneath the school and could only be opened by his heir. He placed a basilisk inside the chamber, intending for it to be used to rid the school of those he deemed unworthy. This chamber remained undiscovered for nearly 1,000 years. In 1943, Tom Riddle, a student at Hogwarts and a direct descendant of Slytherin, discovered the entrance to the chamber. He used Parseltongue to open it and released the basilisk, which resulted in the death of a student named Myrtle Warren. She became the ghost known as Moaning Myrtle. Riddle framed another student, Rubeus Hagrid, for the incident, and the chamber was sealed again. In 1992, the chamber was reopened by Ginny Weasley under the influence of Tom Riddle's diary, a magical object that preserved a piece of his memory. Harry Potter entered the chamber, killed the basilisk, and destroyed the diary. This confirmed that the legend of the chamber and the creature within was factual. Apart from the Chamber of Secrets, other hidden areas beneath Hogwarts have been revealed over time. One of these is the network of underground passages leading to Hogsmeade, which includes the Honeyduke's Passage and the Shrieking Shack route. These were discovered by the Marauders and documented in the Marauders map. The Room of Requirement, though not beneath the school, functions as a hidden space that adapts to the user's needs. It has been used for various purposes, including as a meeting place for Dumbledore's army and as a storage area. Another important hidden area is the cave-like environment that holds the Philosopher's Stone in the first book. Dumbledore and the professors created multiple magical protections to secure the stone, which was hidden beneath the trapdoor guarded by Fluffy, a three-headed dog. These protections included enchanted keys, logic puzzles, and magical creatures. Though temporary, this area reflects the broader use of concealed spaces in Hogwarts history. The Chamber of Secrets, however, remains the most enduring of these locations. It was tied directly to the ideological split among the founders. Over time, the legacy of the founders has remained a central part of the school's identity. Portraits, house relics, and magical artifacts have preserved their influence. For example, the sword of Godric Gryffindor appears to worthy students in times of need. Helga Hufflepuff's cup became one of Voldemort's Horcruxes. Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem was also turned into a Horcrux and was hidden in the Room of Requirement. Salazar Slytherin's locket became another Horcrux and was later destroyed. These artifacts connect the founders directly to major events in the modern timeline. The Hogwarts crest also bears their symbols. Gryffindor is represented by a lion, Hufflepuff by a badger, Ravenclaw by an eagle, and Slytherin by a serpent. The physical layout of the school, the location of each house common room, and the traditions of inter-house rivalry all trace back to the founders' original design. Additional information from sources such as Pottermore and writings by J.K. Rowling confirm that the founders used enchantments that continue to operate long after their deaths. The Sorting Hat, which contains a fragment of each founder's mind, continues to be active. Hogwarts itself responds to threats through magical defenses. The founders' intentions are also reflected in the way professors are selected and how house points are used to maintain discipline. Hogwarts remains a living institution shaped by its origins. Though only Salazar Slytherin is known to have left a lasting physical legacy underground, it is likely that other founders also created enchantments that remain hidden. No detailed records survive about the construction methods or the full extent of the underground structure. However, the confirmed locations suggest a large and complex network. The most significant outcome of the founder story is the continuing ideological impact on the school and its students. The division between blood status, house identity, and magical philosophy originates from the founders. Their individual values continue to influence decisions made by students and staff. These influences have led to both unity and conflict within the school. The events that began in the 10th century have directly shaped events in the 20th and 21st centuries. Voldemort's actions, the resistance led by Harry Potter, and the school's role in both wizarding wars are connected to the founders' original structure. In conclusion, the founding of Hogwarts was a key historical event in the wizarding world. The founders' intentions, both united and divided, created an educational system that has lasted for over 1,000 years. The secrets buried beneath Hogwarts are physical spaces, magical protections, and ideological foundations that continue to shape its future. Every major character, from Harry Potter to Severus Snape, was influenced by the decisions made by Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. These facts remain central to understanding the structure and purpose of magical education in Britain. The Chamber of Secrets was never fully closed. The foundation of the events related to the Chamber of Secrets begins in the early years of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. Hogwarts was founded over 1,000 years ago by 4 powerful witches and wizards: Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. These 4 founders had differing views about who should be allowed to study magic. While Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, and Ravenclaw welcomed all magical children regardless of their background, Slytherin believed that only pure-blood witches and wizards should be admitted. This disagreement led to growing tension between the founders. Eventually, Slytherin chose to leave the school. Before his departure, Salazar Slytherin created a secret chamber deep within the school. This hidden area became known as the Chamber of Secrets. According to legend, only Slytherin's true heir would be able to open the chamber. Inside the chamber, he placed a creature that would purge the school of those he considered unworthy of studying magic. That creature was a basilisk. The basilisk is a giant serpent bred by dark magic. Its gaze can kill instantly. Those who do not make direct eye contact with it may be petrified instead. The existence of the Chamber of Secrets was dismissed by many Hogwarts staff members over the centuries. However, some believed the legends were true. The location of the chamber remained hidden for many years. It was not until the school year of 1942 that the chamber was opened for the first recorded time. At that time, a student named Tom Marvolo Riddle attended Hogwarts. He was a highly intelligent orphan who had already shown signs of dark behavior. Riddle later became known as Lord Voldemort. During his 5th year at the school, Riddle discovered the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets in the second-floor girls' bathroom. He was able to speak Parseltongue, the language of snakes, which allowed him to control the basilisk. Using the basilisk, Riddle attacked several Muggle-born students. One of the victims was a student named Myrtle Warren. She was killed in the bathroom and later became the ghost known as Moaning Myrtle. The school was at risk of closure. To avoid this, Riddle framed another student, Rubeus Hagrid, for the attacks. Hagrid kept a giant spider named Aragog as a pet, which Riddle claimed was the monster. As a result, Hagrid was expelled. The attacks stopped, and the chamber was believed to be sealed once again. In 1992, 50 years after the original attacks, the Chamber of Secrets was reopened. At this time, Harry Potter was in his 2nd year at Hogwarts. The entrance remained in the same location. The mechanism to access it was hidden behind a sink with a snake engraving. A person had to speak Parseltongue to reveal the passage. This year, the attacks began again, targeting Muggle-born students. Victims included Colin Creevey, Justin Finch-Fletchley, and Hermione Granger. Mrs. Norris, the caretaker's cat, was also petrified. The chamber's presence was confirmed when a message appeared on a wall, stating that the chamber had been opened once more. The person responsible was not Voldemort in his current form. Instead, it was Ginny Weasley, who had been possessed through a magical diary. The diary was a Horcrux that contained a portion of Tom Riddle's soul. Ginny had unknowingly written in the diary, which allowed Riddle to manipulate her actions. She was the one who opened the chamber again under his influence. The situation escalated when Ginny was taken into the chamber. Harry Potter, with the help of Ron Weasley and Professor Gilderoy Lockhart, followed her. Inside the chamber, Harry encountered a memory version of Tom Riddle. He also faced the basilisk and killed it using the sword of Godric Gryffindor, which appeared from the Sorting Hat. Harry then destroyed the diary by stabbing it with a basilisk fang, ending Riddle's control. Following the incident, the chamber was believed to be sealed again. However, it was never officially closed or destroyed. The entrance remained accessible and the chamber was intact. This fact became important during the events of the Second Wizarding War. In 1998, during the Battle of Hogwarts, Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger returned to the chamber to retrieve a basilisk fang. They used the fang to destroy the Horcrux made from Helga Hufflepuff's cup. This confirmed that the chamber still existed and could be entered by individuals other than the heir of Slytherin, as long as they could imitate Parseltongue. The structure of the chamber was built far below the school. It consisted of a long tunnel and a large underground hall supported by stone pillars. The basilisk's skeleton remained in place after Harry killed it. The Sword of Gryffindor was returned to Hogwarts, but was later stolen by Ministry forces during Voldemort's rise. The diary, as a destroyed Horcrux, was kept by Dumbledore's office for study, for its remains were discarded. The chamber's magical protections remained in place, which prevented its detection by standard spells or maps. Even the Marauders map did not show its location. The events linked to the chamber had long-term effects. Rubeus Hagrid's reputation was damaged for decades. Ginny Weasley suffered psychological consequences from the possession. Dumbledore's belief in Voldemort's connections to Hogwarts was strengthened. The presence of the basilisk confirmed the danger of ancient magic still lingering within the school. The use of the diary introduced the concept of Horcruxes to the reader and to Harry Potter. It was the first Horcrux to be discovered and destroyed. Later Horcruxes required different methods, but basilisk venom proved consistently effective. During the events of the Cursed Child play, set after the original books, there was no mention of the chamber being sealed permanently. Its existence remained part of Hogwarts history. Some believe that the chamber could be repurposed or studied by future generations. Magical historians have debated the architectural complexity of the chamber and how Slytherin managed to hide it. There is also discussion about whether other hidden spaces like the chamber could exist within the castle. The ability to speak Parseltongue has become rare. After the destruction of the Horcrux inside Harry, he lost this ability. Therefore, access to the chamber became even more limited. However, magical imitations of Parseltongue remain possible. Wizards have theorized that enchanted recordings or translation spells could allow entrance. The magical protections around the entrance have not been publicly documented, and Hogwarts has not released statements regarding efforts to seal the space completely. In summary, the Chamber of Secrets was created by Salazar Slytherin over 1,000 years ago. It was opened first in 1942 by Tom Riddle, and then again in 1992 through his diary. The basilisk was killed, but the chamber remained functional. Its access point in the girls' bathroom still exists. The space was used again in 1998 to retrieve materials to destroy Horcruxes. The chamber continues to be a subject of magical historical study and remains one of the most significant hidden locations in the wizarding world. Following the Second Wizarding War, the Chamber of Secrets remained an unsealed part of Hogwarts, hidden beneath the second-floor girls' bathroom. Its entrance could still be activated through Parseltongue, a rare magical language that very few witches and wizards could speak. After the destruction of the piece of Voldemort's soul inside Harry Potter in 1998, Harry lost the ability to speak Parseltongue. This made re-entry into the chamber much more difficult, though not entirely impossible. Magical experts confirmed that imitated Parseltongue or specific spellwork could potentially still unlock it. The chamber was never dismantled or magically sealed by the Ministry of Magic or Hogwarts staff after the war. Its structure, enchanted defenses, and historical significance were preserved, but it was considered dangerous and was officially off-limits to students and staff. The architecture of the chamber, believed to have been constructed by Salazar Slytherin himself over 1,000 years ago, was studied by magical historians who classified it as one of the oldest known magical constructs still functioning within the castle. Its concealment had resisted the best detection spells for centuries. Even the Marauders map, enchanted to reveal almost every passage and presence within Hogwarts, did not show the chamber or its contents. This made the chamber a valuable case study for academic research in ancient magical architecture and concealment magic. Despite its value, access remained restricted and closely monitored due to the chamber's violent past and association with multiple attacks and a magical creature classified as XXXX by the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. The legacy of the chamber extended beyond its physical presence. It deeply impacted the lives of several major characters in the wizarding world. Ginny Weasley, who had been possessed through Tom Riddle's diary, recovered but carried lasting emotional scars. Her experience was later understood to be one of the rare recorded cases of magical possession through a Horcrux. Harry Potter's defeat of the Basilisk, with the sword of Godric Gryffindor, and his destruction of the diary with a basilisk fang, marked his first personal involvement in Horcrux destruction, even before knowing the term. These actions foreshadowed his future role in ending Voldemort's reign and significantly contributed to the discovery of Horcruxes by Albus Dumbledore. Albus Dumbledore himself recognized the diary as more than just a cursed object. He identified it as proof that Voldemort had begun the dangerous process of splitting his soul and hiding it in multiple containers. This realization led him to begin a long investigation into the remaining Horcruxes, eventually involving Harry in this task. The existence of the chamber, therefore, served not only as a historic threat, but also as the starting point for uncovering the central strategy behind Voldemort's immortality attempts. The Ministry of Magic, after the war, did not take public action to destroy or magically seal the chamber. The reason may have been to preserve it for future study, or because of the complexity of the magic involved. Regardless, the space remained undisturbed, with the remains of the basilisk still present inside. These remains continued to be studied for their properties. Basilisk venom, which could destroy Horcruxes, was considered extremely rare and valuable. It became one of the key magical substances studied in post-war dark arts research. Hermione Granger and Ron Weasley had retrieved a basilisk fang from the chamber during the Battle of Hogwarts to destroy Helga Hufflepuff's cup, one of Voldemort's final Horcruxes. This confirmed the chamber's role, even in the final stages of the war. The chamber's influence on magical education also shifted after the war. The story of its existence, the danger it posed, and the lessons learned became part of the defense against the dark arts curriculum. It highlighted the dangers of concealed magic, unchecked bias, and historical myths being mistaken for fiction. The events surrounding the chamber also emphasized the importance of verifying magical legends, many of which were found to contain elements of truth. In conclusion, the Chamber of Secrets remains one of the most significant hidden structures in Hogwarts history. Created by Salazar Slytherin, used by Tom Riddle, and discovered by Harry Potter, it directly impacted the lives of students, teachers, and the outcome of the war against Voldemort. Though the monster it housed was killed, and its last use tied to the destruction of a Horcrux, the chamber was never magically closed or erased. It stands today as a symbol of ancient magic, deep-seated division, and the lasting consequences of hidden truths within the wizarding world. The Cursed Vaults, hidden in the castle's heart. What if one of the most protected schools in the wizarding world still holds dangerous secrets even after 1,000 years? The idea of cursed vaults in Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry is not part of the original 7 Harry Potter books written by J.K. Rowling. However, the cursed vaults are introduced and expanded upon in the official role-playing game Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery. This mobile game was released in April 2018 and developed by Jam City. The game takes place in the 1980s, a period before the birth of Harry Potter. The story follows a custom-created student who attends Hogwarts and becomes involved in the search for hidden cursed vaults throughout the castle. These vaults are believed to have been created and protected by powerful magic long ago. There is no confirmation that the original founders created the cursed vaults. However, their presence under Hogwarts and their complex protection spells suggest ancient origins. The timeline begins when the main character's brother, Jacob, is expelled from Hogwarts after obsessively trying to find these vaults. This introduces the central mystery of the game. Jacob believed that the vaults contained dark, magical items and secrets that could endanger the school. The first confirmed cursed vault discovered is located beneath the Forbidden Forest. This vault is protected by ice magic that begins to spread into the castle, causing damage and posing a threat to students. The vault is sealed by a large door and guarded by enchanted creatures. Eventually, the door is opened with the help of a cursed ice key and specific spells. Inside, magical disturbances and memory fragments are found, revealing more about Jacob's actions. The next vault appears to be linked with a series of sleep curses. Students begin to fall into deep, magical sleep. The vault behind this event is connected to a portrait and requires solving a series of magical clues hidden throughout Hogwarts. Another vault spreads a dangerous plant curse. The vegetation begins to grow uncontrollably in specific areas of the school. This vault is located in the Black Lake and requires underwater exploration and potion use. The fourth vault deals with a time-related disturbance. Objects are appearing and disappearing across time. This vault is protected by puzzles and magical barriers and is hidden deep within the castle. Each vault has a guardian or magical defense system that must be bypassed. These include cursed books, enchanted portraits, aggressive magical creatures, and specific enchantments. The concept of the cursed vaults expands the idea that Hogwarts has many hidden rooms and magical structures. This aligns with established canon elements such as the Room of Requirement, the Chamber of Secrets, and the Marauders map. While these vaults are not referenced in the films or books, the developers of the game worked with the official Wizarding World team to create lore that fits within the timeline and magical rules of the Harry Potter universe. Characters like Albus Dumbledore, Minerva McGonagall, and Severus Snape appear in the game as professors, providing credibility and consistency with no timelines. The game confirms that these vaults were sealed for a reason, and that disturbing them leads to magical instability. The curse effects often reach beyond the vaults and affect students, classrooms, and magical objects. The protagonist, along with other students like Rowan Khanna and Penny Haywood, works to uncover these vaults, learn the truth behind them, and stop the curses. Over time, it is revealed that a secret group known as the R exists within the school. This group is also trying to unlock the vaults, but their motivations are unclear. Their leader, a mysterious figure, seeks to use the contents of the vaults for personal gain. The game's story implies that some of the vaults might be linked to powerful magical artifacts or lost knowledge. Some theories in fan communities suggest that the cursed vaults could have been created as part of a failed experiment or hidden protection method during earlier centuries. There is no official record in the Harry Potter books of such vaults, but the concept is accepted within the context of the Hogwarts mystery game. The game also presents the idea that memories can be stored inside these vaults. When opened, the vaults reveal not just magical threats, but also hidden truths about the history of Hogwarts and its students. One vault reveals information about the main character's family and their connection to the magical world. The Cursed Vault storyline follows a clear chronological order of discovery and resolution, each year of school focusing on one vault. The plot gradually reveals more about Jacob's actions, the motivations of the group R, and the role of the main character. The vaults are spread throughout the grounds of Hogwarts, including the Forbidden Forest, the Black Lake, and the castle itself. Each vault requires solving clues, battling magical creatures, and overcoming enchanted traps. The magical principles used to secure the vaults include enchantments, jinxes, memory magic, and advanced potion making. The impact of the Cursed Vaults storyline is limited to the Hogwarts mystery game, but it adds depth to the understanding of Hogwarts as a school with many hidden layers. While not considered core canon by all fans, the Cursed Vaults represent a structured and well-developed extension of the wizarding world. The idea supports the notion that Hogwarts holds more secrets than those explored in the original books. Many of the spells and magical creatures encountered in this storyline also appear in other parts of the wizarding world, including Fantastic Beasts films and supplementary writings. In conclusion, the Cursed Vaults are a set of magically protected chambers hidden across Hogwarts during the 1980s. They contain magical threats and ancient secrets. Their discovery and resolution involve several students and professors. Though not mentioned in the original books, they are recognized in licensed content and provide a structured narrative that expands the magical history of Hogwarts. Their impact remains contained within the context of the Hogwarts mystery storyline, but aligns with the school's tradition of hidden dangers and magical puzzles. No formal announcement was ever made by Hogwarts or the Ministry of Magic regarding the sealing or repurposing the Chamber of Secrets. The entrance remained located in the second-floor girls' bathroom, still monitored by the ghost Moaning Myrtle. While it was assumed that no further threat remained inside the chamber, there were no confirmed magical protections added to prevent future access. This left open the possibility that a parcel-tongue speaker or someone skilled in imitating the language could still enter. Hogwarts chose not to collapse or seal the chamber, likely due to concerns about magical backlash or structural damage to the school. During post-war recovery, the focus remained on repairing damaged areas and restoring safety, with little public effort directed toward underground spaces. The basilisk's remains were left where they had fallen. Its skeleton, which retained magical properties, became a subject of interest. According to known magical biology, basilisk parts, including fangs and hide, carry strong magical energy. The fang used to destroy Helga Hufflepuff's cup was proof of its continued usefulness. Some believed that the rest of the remains could be harvested for potion ingredients or artifact crafting. However, Hogwarts never confirmed if the remains were removed or stored. There was also no record of a team entering to dismantle the chamber or remove other possible enchantments. In interviews after the war, former students, including Hermione Granger, noted the importance of the chamber during the battle, but also mentioned the emotional weight tied to the space. The historical significance of the chamber extended beyond just the presence of the basilisk. Its continued existence served as a physical reminder of Salazar Slytherin's philosophy. It represented a time when magical blood status divided the wizarding community and highlighted the long-standing conflicts that shaped Hogwarts culture. After the war, many changes were made to encourage unity among the houses, especially between Slytherin and others. The story of the chamber became part of Hogwarts education, not as a myth, but as documented history. Professors used it to teach about magical ethics, history, and the consequences of magical prejudice. The chamber's role in the Second Wizarding War also raised questions about magical security in ancient structures. Despite centuries of use, the castle still contained secrets unknown to many of its residents. Magical architects and historians began to study the possibility of other hidden chambers across the world. The chamber's design, concealment methods, and magical protections were viewed as advanced examples of medieval wizarding engineering. Some experts believed that Salazar Slytherin may have used enchantments that responded only to magical lineage or intent, not just spoken language. This theory suggested that even without Parseltongue, a powerful descendant could still access the room if the right magical conditions were met. The psychological impact of the chamber on those involved in its history was also studied. Ginny Weasley's possession by the diary affected her for years. While she recovered, the experience remained a central part of her early life at Hogwarts. Harry Potter's repeated exposure to the chamber, both in 1992 and during the Battle of Hogwarts, added to the legend surrounding his time at the school. Ron Weasley's ability to imitate Parseltongue and enter the chamber in 1998 demonstrated that access was not limited strictly by bloodline, but by practical knowledge and magical skill. Hermione Granger, through her research, confirmed that magical language could be mimicked under the right circumstances. This insight influenced how the wizarding world understood linguistic magic and its limitations. In the years following the war, no new attacks linked to the chamber were reported. Its influence on Hogwarts slowly shifted from being a feared legend to a topic of academic interest. Magical journals published articles about the chamber's architecture, the lifespan and biology of basilisks, and the magical signature of ancient enchantments. The Horcrux hidden in the diary and its link to the chamber became a key example in magical defense education. Dumbledore's decisions involving the diary, as well as the actions taken by Harry and his friends, were added to revised defense against the dark arts curriculum. Students studied the mistakes made in the past to better understand the nature of magical objects and the danger of underestimating enchanted artifacts. The use of the chamber to access basilisk venom highlighted the importance of unconventional strategies in magical warfare. At the time, Few substances were known to destroy Horcruxes. The venom's effectiveness made it a vital resource. Scholars noted that had the chamber not remained open, the destruction of certain Horcruxes might not have been possible. This practical value added to debates about whether Hogwarts should have sealed the space or preserved it for future emergencies. As of the most recent published information, no new creatures or spells were reported inside the chamber, and its magical stability had not changed. However, its doors remained accessible, and the knowledge of its location was no longer secret among Hogwarts staff and certain students. In summary, the Chamber of Secrets was not fully closed following the events of the Second Wizarding War. Its entrance remained intact, its structure undamaged, and its historical significance preserved. Though the basilisk was killed and the Horcrux destroyed, the chamber itself was never removed or sealed. It continued to serve as a valuable site for magical research, historical study, and cautionary reflection. Its influence stretched beyond its physical space, reminding future generations of how ancient beliefs, hidden architecture, and powerful creatures could impact the present. The chamber stood as one of the few remaining untouched legacies of the founders, particularly Salazar Slytherin, whose complex history continued to shape the identity of Hogwarts long after the war had ended. The Forbidden Forest and the creatures that guard it. The area known as the Forbidden Forest is located on the grounds of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. It is a large and ancient forest situated to the east of the main castle and has existed since the founding of Hogwarts over 1,000 years ago. The forest is used for educational purposes under supervision, but remains off-limits to students without permission due to the presence of numerous magical creatures and the potential dangers within. It is officially referred to as the Forbidden Forest in school policy and is under the care of the gamekeeper. During the 1990s, Rubeus Hagrid held this role. He maintained the forest and regularly interacted with its creatures. The forest served multiple purposes during the timeline of the Harry Potter series. It provided a setting for punishments, secret meetings, and significant events in the lives of students and staff. Its contents included a wide range of creatures recognized by the Ministry of Magic, with varying levels of classification under the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. One of the earliest documented interactions with the forest took place in Harry Potter's first year at Hogwarts in 1992. After being caught out of bed, Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, Neville Longbottom, and Draco Malfoy were given detention and assigned to serve it in the forest alongside Hagrid. Their task was to investigate a wounded unicorn. During this event, Harry encountered a hooded figure later confirmed to be Lord Voldemort in a weakened form. He was feeding on unicorn blood to maintain his life. This incident confirmed the forest's role in sheltering both magical creatures and individuals hiding from the wizarding world. Among the most notable creatures living in the forest are centaurs. The centaurs form an organized and intelligent society. They live in the forest independently and do not work for the ministry. Centaurs include Firenze, Bane, Megorian, and Ronan. They believe in interpreting the stars and maintaining their own rules separate from humans. Firenze later agreed to teach divination at Hogwarts during Harry's 5th year, which caused tension among his own kind. Another group of inhabitants in the forest are the Acromantulas. These are giant spiders capable of human speech. Aragog, an Acromantula raised by Hagrid, was released into the forest in 1943 and established a large colony. These spiders attack humans and other animals that enter their territory. In 1993, Harry Potter and Ron Weasley entered the forest in search of information about the Chamber of Secrets. They met Aragog, who revealed that he was not the creature responsible for the earlier attacks at Hogwarts. The spiders later tried to attack the students, forcing them to flee. Aragog eventually died in 1997 and was buried near Hagrid's hut. Thestrals are another species residing in the forest. These winged horse-like creatures can only be seen by individuals who have witnessed death. Harry Potter first saw them in his 5th year. Thestrals are used by the school to pull carriages and were used by the students to travel to the Ministry of Magic in 1996. Despite their eerie appearance, Thestrals are not aggressive. They are classified as magical creatures requiring specialist knowledge to care for. They provided vital transportation for Harry and his friends during the mission to retrieve the prophecy from the Department of Mysteries. Werewolves have also entered the forest under specific circumstances. In 1994, during the events of the Triwizard Tournament, Harry was chased into the forest by Victor Krum, who had been placed under the Imperious Curse by Barty Crouch Jr. Additionally, Remus Lupin, a known werewolf, taught at Hogwarts in Harry's 3rd year. Although he did not transform inside the forest, the presence of lycanthropy added to the overall sense of danger surrounding the area. Trolls have occasionally entered the forest. These creatures are not native to the region, but are known to migrate through it. They are classified as dangerous and unintelligent. Giants, once allies of Voldemort during the First and Second Wizarding Wars, are not known to reside in the forest, but were rumored to have passed near it during the war period. Unicorns are among the purest creatures found in the forest. They are difficult to catch and are valued for their magical properties. Their blood can keep a person alive, but at a great moral cost. Foals are golden in color and become silver when they mature. They avoid adult males and are more likely to approach females. The forest has also served as a battleground. During the Battle of Hogwarts in 1998, creatures from the forest became involved in the conflict. The centaurs initially refused to fight, but eventually joined the battle against Voldemort and his followers. The acromantulas were used by Voldemort to attack the defenders of the castle. The spiders climbed the walls of Hogwarts during the fight, creating chaos among the fighters. The Thestrals, although not directly involved in combat, were used for transportation during the preparation stages. The forest also served as a place of exile. After being dismissed from his post as divination teacher, Firenze took refuge there. It was also where Grop, Hagrid's half-brother and a giant, was hidden in 1996. Grop was not native to the forest, but was relocated there by Hagrid after being brought from the mountains. Grop played a minor role during the Battle of Hogwarts by defending his brother and fighting against Death Eaters. The Forbidden Forest is also associated with magical education. It is used in care of magical creatures classes. Hagrid regularly brought students there to study hippogriffs, nifflers, and other controlled species. In 1993, Draco Malfoy was injured by a hippogriff named Buckbeak during a lesson in the forest. This incident led to a disciplinary hearing for Hagrid and an ordered execution for Buckbeak. However, the execution was avoided due to intervention from Hermione Granger and the use of a time turner. Magical enforcement has limited jurisdiction over the forest. The Ministry rarely enters unless there is an incident that affects nearby communities. Hogwarts staff are responsible for its maintenance and security. The forest remains one of the most regulated zones in the school grounds, but is not sealed or closed to staff. Forbidden status applies only to students without supervision. Over the years, several students have broken this rule for personal or mission-related reasons. This includes Harry, Hermione, Ron, Neville, and Draco during their second-year detention. The forest also houses rare magical plants. Some of these are used in potion making and are gathered under controlled circumstances. The full catalog of plant species has not been published, but Hogwarts maintains internal records for academic use. In recent years, the forest has continued to serve as both a sanctuary and a zone of danger. It reflects the diversity of magical creatures and the complexity of maintaining a balance between safety and magical heritage. The creatures that live there follow their own rules, and their presence reminds the wizarding community of the need for coexistence and boundaries. The forest is expected to remain part of Hogwarts for the foreseeable future. It provides educational value, historical importance, and ecological balance. Although still classified as forbidden, it remains an active component of the school's environment. It is monitored but not controlled, respected but not fully understood. In conclusion, the Forbidden Forest is a vital part of Hogwarts' history and function. It houses numerous magical creatures including centaurs, acromantulas, thestrals, and unicorns. It has been the site of attacks, battles, and lessons. Its connection to key characters such as Harry Potter, Hagrid, and Voldemort emphasizes its importance. Though dangerous, it plays a central role in the education of students and the preservation of magical knowledge. Its ongoing presence serves as a reminder of the complexity of magical environments and the creatures that guard them. The prophecy that chose between two boys. What if the most important prophecy in wizarding history was never truly understood by the people it affected most? This question takes us to the year 1980 in the wizarding world, when a specific event changed the fate of two boys and shaped the course of the Second Wizarding War. On the evening of the 31st of October, 1981, Lord Voldemort attempted to kill Harry Potter in the village of Godric's Hollow. This event is known as the start of Harry's story, but the reason behind Voldemort's actions is directly connected to a prophecy made the year before. The prophecy was recorded by the Department of Mysteries and placed in the Hall of Prophecies in the Ministry of Magic. It is important to understand the background, the characters involved, and the facts surrounding the content and delivery of this prophecy. The prophecy was made in 1980 by Sybil Trelawney. She was interviewing for the position of divination professor at the Hogshead Inn in Hogsmeade. The interview was conducted by Albus Dumbledore. During the meeting, Trelawney entered a trance and gave a prophecy. The prophecy was overheard in part by Severus Snape, who was spying on Dumbledore under orders from Lord Voldemort. Snape reported the information to Voldemort. The full prophecy stated that a child would be born at the end of July to parents who had defied Voldemort 3 times. The child would have the power to defeat the Dark Lord. The prophecy also said that the Dark Lord would mark this child as his equal and that one would have to destroy the other. The prophecy did not specifically name Harry Potter. It also applied to another child born at the end of July. This child was Neville Longbottom. Both Harry and Neville were born in July 1980. Both had parents who were members of the Order of the Phoenix and had fought against Voldemort. Frank and Alice Longbottom were Aurors. James and Lily Potter were also active fighters in the war. Based on the available facts, Voldemort made a choice. He decided that Harry was the child described in the prophecy. This decision was based on Harry's half-blood status, which Voldemort shared. This choice to target Harry fulfilled the next part of the prophecy. By marking Harry with a cursed scar, Voldemort made him the chosen one. If Voldemort had gone after Neville instead, the events of the war might have been different. The impact of Voldemort's decision was immediate. When he attempted to kill Harry, the curse backfired due to Lily Potter's protective sacrifice. This resulted in the destruction of Voldemort's physical body. He was reduced to a powerless state for over a decade. During that time, Harry was raised by the Dursley family at number 4 Privet Drive. The prophecy remained in the Ministry of Magic in a glass sphere, accessible only to the people directly mentioned in it. When Voldemort returned to power in 1995, he sought to retrieve the prophecy to confirm whether it truly named Harry as the one who could defeat him. This led to the events at the Department of Mysteries in 1996, where Harry and his friends entered the Hall of Prophecies and were attacked by Death Eaters. The prophecy was destroyed during the battle, but Dumbledore later revealed the full contents to Harry. The full wording of the prophecy, as told by Dumbledore, stated that the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord would be born as the 7th month dies, to parents who had defied him 3 times. The child would have a power unknown to the Dark Lord. The prophecy ended by stating that either must die at the hand of the other, because neither could live while the other survived. This final line became the most important part. It explained why Voldemort focused so heavily on killing Harry, and why Harry was tied to Voldemort's survival. The power mentioned in the prophecy was not a specific magical ability. According to Dumbledore, the power was Harry's capacity for love and self-sacrifice. This was a theme repeated throughout the series. It also explained why Harry was willing to face death during the Battle of Hogwarts without resistance. That act allowed Voldemort's protection to be removed from his followers and gave Harry the opportunity to destroy him. Neville Longbottom's role in the prophecy remains a significant part of the story. Although he was not chosen by Voldemort, he played a key role in the war. Neville destroyed the final Horcrux, which was the snake Nagini, during the Battle of Hogwarts using the Sword of Gryffindor. His actions were essential to Voldemort's final defeat. Some fans believe that Neville could have fulfilled the prophecy if Voldemort had chosen him instead of Harry. This theory is supported by the idea that the prophecy became true only after Voldemort acted on it. The connection between Harry and Voldemort was also explained by the Horcrux created when the curse rebounded in 1981. A fragment of Voldemort's soul latched onto Harry, making him an unintentional Horcrux. This connection allowed Harry to feel Voldemort's emotions and see into his thoughts. The scar on his forehead reacted to Voldemort's presence and magic. In order to fully destroy Voldemort, Harry had to allow the piece of soul inside him to be destroyed. This occurred during the Battle of Hogwarts, when Voldemort used the killing curse on Harry in the Forbidden Forest. Harry did not die because the curse targeted only the Horcrux. The prophecy's influence extended beyond Harry and Voldemort. It affected the actions of the Order of the Phoenix, the Death Eaters, and the Ministry of Magic. The prophecy was used as justification for many actions during the second rise of Voldemort. It also caused fear and confusion among the public. The Hall of Prophecies contained many similar recordings, but only a few were ever acted upon with such intensity. The Department of Mysteries, where the prophecy was stored, remained a restricted area. Access was granted only under specific conditions. The retrieval of the prophecy in 1996 by Harry and his friends marked one of the few known incidents where a stored prophecy directly influenced a major battle. Sybil Trelawney's status as a prophet remained uncertain. She continued to work at Hogwarts as a divination professor. While most of her predictions were dismissed, the two known prophecies she made both came true. The second prophecy was made during Harry's third year and predicted the return of Voldemort's servant, Peter Pettigrew. This prophecy also proved accurate. Despite these moments, Trelawney was never fully respected by her peers and remained a secondary figure in the series. Her role in the first prophecy, however, had long-lasting effects on magical history. The theories surrounding the prophecy include the belief that it was a self-fulfilling statement. If Voldemort had ignored the prophecy, he might have continued to rule without challenge. By acting on the information and choosing to attack Harry, he created the very conditions that led to his defeat. Another theory suggests that the prophecy was intentionally vague. The phrase, "Power the Dark Lord knows not," could apply to many things. It is possible that the prophecy did not guarantee a specific outcome, but instead described a path that depended on the choices of those involved. In the years following the war, the prophecy became part of the official record of Voldemort's defeat. It was studied in magical education and used as an example of how prophecy and action are connected. Harry Potter's decision to fulfill the prophecy by facing death rather than seeking power confirmed the interpretation shared by Dumbledore. The prophecy did not require a specific spell or duel. It required understanding, timing, and sacrifice. In conclusion, the prophecy made by Sybil Trelawney in 1980 directly influenced the major events of the Harry Potter series. It applied to both Harry Potter and Neville Longbottom but became centered on Harry after Voldemort's decision. The prophecy predicted a confrontation in which one would have to destroy the other. The contents of the prophecy were confirmed by Albus Dumbledore and later fulfilled through a combination of strategic choices, magical understanding, and personal sacrifice. The prophecy changed how the wizarding world viewed the power of fate, choice, and interpretation. It also served as a reminder of how one decision can shape the lives of many. Azkaban and the darkness that feeds it. Azkaban is a high-security wizarding prison located in the North Sea. Its exact location is unplottable on any map, and it is protected by powerful concealment spells. The fortress was originally built in the 15th century, although it was not used as a prison until the early 18th century. The structure itself predates its known history. Magical historians believe it was constructed by a dark wizard whose name has not been preserved in official records. This wizard was known to conduct magical experiments and use complex enchantments involving dark energy and isolation. When the prison was officially established, the British Ministry of Magic repurposed this structure due to its secure and remote location. The ministry chose Azkaban for its natural defenses and its ability to keep dangerous magical individuals away from the general wizarding population. Over time, the prison became the primary location for incarcerating wizards and witches who violated magical law. Its use expanded significantly during times of war and instability. Azkaban's most infamous characteristic is its use of Dementors as guards. Dementors are non-human dark creatures that feed on human happiness and cause intense psychological distress. Their presence at Azkaban was officially sanctioned by the Ministry of Magic in the early years of the prison's operation. The rationale was that the Dementors could effectively prevent prisoners from escaping and deter them from resisting. However, the long-term effect of Dementor exposure caused many prisoners to experience mental breakdowns, severe depression, and in some cases, death. This method of containment was criticized by several groups within the magical community, but was maintained for over 2 centuries. Dementors were employed until 1998, when their role was officially ended following the conclusion of the Second Wizarding War. The location of Azkaban itself is an important factor in its history. It is surrounded by cold sea waters and violent storms, which make escape through physical means nearly impossible. Prisoners are transported by magical means, often using enchanted boats, or direct apparition by ministry officials. Apparition into or out of Azkaban is restricted by powerful enchantments. The cells are magically reinforced and designed to suppress magical abilities. Wands are confiscated upon entry and are held by the prison administration. Each cell is small, dark, and isolated, which contributes to the psychological toll on prisoners. The structure is made of gray stone and includes multiple levels, with more dangerous individuals being placed in the lower sections. Throughout its history, Azkaban has held some of the most dangerous witches and wizards. During the First Wizarding War from the 1970s to 1981, several Death Eaters were imprisoned after the fall of Lord Voldemort. These included Bellatrix Lestrange, Rodolphus Lestrange, Rabastan Lestrange, and Barty Crouch Jr. Bellatrix was one of the most fanatical followers of Voldemort and was sentenced for her involvement in the torture of Aurors Frank and Alice Longbottom. Barty Crouch Jr. was originally believed to have died in Azkaban, but it was later revealed that he had been smuggled out by his mother and placed under the Imperious Curse by his father, Barty Crouch Sr. Another prominent prisoner was Sirius Black. He was imprisoned in Azkaban in 1981 without trial, accused of murdering Peter Pettigrew and 12 Muggles. He remained in the prison for 12 years before escaping in 1993. Sirius was the first known person to escape from Azkaban. His escape was made possible by his animagus ability, which allowed him to transform into a dog. This transformation allowed him to maintain some mental clarity, as Dementors were less effective against animals. After his escape, the Ministry launched a manhunt but failed to capture him. He remained a fugitive until his death in 1996. During the Second Wizarding War, which began in 1995, Azkaban experienced several major events. The Dementors abandoned their post as guards and aligned with Voldemort. This left the prison vulnerable and allowed many Death Eaters to escape. These included Antonin Dolohov, Augustus Rookwood, and Mulciber. Their escape led to increased instability in the wizarding world and forced the Ministry to revise its security measures. Kingsley Shacklebolt, who later became Minister for Magic, was one of the officials who advocated for reform after the war. By 1998, following the defeat of Voldemort at the Battle of Hogwarts, the use of Dementors as guards was permanently discontinued. Human aurors and other security measures replaced them. The structural history of Azkaban includes evidence of enchantments that prevent communication, teleportation, and magical resistance. These spells were developed over time and were enhanced during the leadership of various ministers for magic. The prison's enchantments are updated periodically, but access to the prison is restricted to ministry-approved personnel. The most secure section of Azkaban is reserved for prisoners serving life sentences without parole. These individuals are kept in near total isolation. The prison's records are maintained by the Department of Magical Law Enforcement. Azkaban does not allow visitors except under special circumstances, usually related to legal reviews or ministry investigations. Psychological studies of Azkaban's impact on prisoners have shown high levels of emotional and cognitive deterioration. Extended exposure to Dementors causes the removal of positive memories and the amplification of fear and sadness. Many prisoners lost the will to live within weeks of confinement. The prison became known not just for its security, but for the suffering it caused. The ethical concerns raised by various figures such as Dumbledore and Amelia Bones were ignored during wartime. However, after the Second Wizarding War, reforms were slowly introduced. The Wizengamot, the High Court of Wizarding Britain, passed several laws to regulate prison conditions and reduce the use of extreme magical containment. In literature and official magical history, Azkaban is often described as a symbol of the Ministry's authority and its failures. While it effectively contained dangerous individuals, it also became a tool for political punishment. In the 1980s and 1990s, individuals were imprisoned without trial or proper evidence. This was most notable in the case of Sirius Black. His imprisonment highlighted flaws in the judicial process. The prison's association with fear and punishment remains strong in public perception. Most wizards and witches regard Azkaban with apprehension. Families of prisoners often face stigma and social isolation. In terms of capacity, Azkaban was designed to house several hundred inmates. During peak times, such as the war periods, this number was exceeded. Overcrowding and limited staff contributed to deteriorating conditions. The British Ministry of Magic does not disclose exact numbers, but former officials have stated that post-war inmate numbers dropped significantly due to the death of key criminals and the use of rehabilitation alternatives. These alternatives include house arrest with magical surveillance and controlled release under ministry supervision. However, serious offenses such as the use of unforgivable curses still result in imprisonment. The prison also stores magical evidence and restricted items seized during investigations. These items are kept under magical lock and monitoring. Access to these materials requires authorization from multiple departments. Training for prison staff includes counter-curse education, dueling techniques, and psychological preparedness. Staff rotation occurs every 6 months to reduce the risk of corruption or magical exhaustion. Azkaban does not provide education or occupational programs for inmates. Rehabilitation is not a formal objective. The goal of the prison has always been containment. Theories about the original purpose of Azkaban suggest it may have been a fortress for dark magical experiments before being claimed by the ministry. Some believe that the residual dark energy in the structure continues to affect both inmates and staff. This theory is supported by historical records indicating higher rates of magical instability among those stationed there for extended periods. Although not officially acknowledged, this belief contributes to the reluctance of some ministry workers to accept positions at Azkaban. In summary, Azkaban is a high-security prison located in the North Sea. It has operated since the 18th century and was originally constructed in the 15th century. It has held many dangerous criminals, including Death Eaters and other violators of magical law. Its use of Dementors as guards was ended in 1998. Since then, the prison has been staffed by trained human personnel. The facility continues to function as the primary prison for the British magical community. It remains one of the most secure and feared locations in the wizarding world. Azkaban reflects the balance between justice and control, highlighting both the strengths and the limitations of magical law enforcement. The ghosts of the Marauders and the map that watches. What happens when a magical object sees everything but speaks nothing? This question leads to the story of 4 students at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, whose actions left behind one of the most powerful enchanted items in wizarding history. Their creation, the Marauders map, was not only a product of skilled magic, but also a symbol of their legacy. The 4 students were James Potter, Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew. They attended Hogwarts between 1971 and 1978. The group called themselves the Marauders. Each of them had a unique magical talent that contributed to the creation of the map. The map itself displayed a detailed layout of the entire school, including hidden passages and the real-time movements of every person inside Hogwarts. James Potter, known as Prongs, was an animagus who could transform into a stag. Sirius Black, known as Padfoot, was also an animagus who transformed into a large black dog. Remus Lupin, known as Moony, was a werewolf. Peter Pettigrew, known as Wormtail, was an animagus who transformed into a rat. The transformation abilities of James, Sirius, and Peter were learned in secret to support Remus, who had to isolate himself during full moons. Their friendship was based on mutual loyalty and a shared disregard for rules. During their time at Hogwarts, they explored every part of the castle and discovered many secret areas. Their knowledge was combined into the enchanted Marauders map. The map could only be activated by saying the phrase, "I solemnly swear that I am up to no good," and could be erased by saying, "Mischief managed." The map was created using advanced magical techniques. These included the homunculus charm, which tracked the movement of people. The map could distinguish between individuals with the same name and recognized animagus forms. It also showed ghosts and magical creatures. The level of magic used to produce the map was exceptional for teenage students. The Marauders managed to keep the map secret during their years at school. It was not confiscated until after they had graduated. The map fell into the possession of Argus Filch, the school caretaker, who stored it with other confiscated items. In 1993, Fred and George Weasley discovered the map while searching Filch's office. They used it for mischief during their time at school. In the same year, they gave the map to Harry Potter. At the time, Harry was in his 3rd year and needed help sneaking into Hogsmeade. The map became an essential tool for Harry throughout his time at Hogwarts. He used it to locate people, avoid detection, and uncover secrets. The Marauders map played a role in several key events. In 1994, during Harry's 4th year, the map showed Barty Crouch Jr. disguised as Mad-Eye Moody. However, Harry did not understand the importance of this information. In 1996, the map revealed Draco Malfoy's activities during the period when he was planning to bring Death Eaters into the school. In 1997, during the events of the final book, the map was used to monitor the location of key individuals. It became one of the most reliable magical items in the series. The legacy of the Marauders was also shaped by their tragic fates. James Potter and Lily Potter were killed by Lord Voldemort on the 31st of October, 1981. Sirius Black was imprisoned in Azkaban for 12 years after being falsely accused of betraying the Potters and killing Peter Pettigrew. Remus Lupin lived in secrecy due to his condition and later joined the Order of the Phoenix. Peter Pettigrew escaped punishment for many years by hiding in his animagus form. He lived as Ron Weasley's pet rat, Scabbers, for over a decade. The truth about the Marauders was revealed in 1994 during Harry's third year. Remus Lupin returned to Hogwarts as the defense against the dark arts teacher. That year, Sirius Black escaped Azkaban. The truth came out when Harry, Hermione, and Ron confronted Sirius and Lupin in the Shrieking Shack. There it was revealed that Peter Pettigrew was alive and had betrayed the Potters. The moment also revealed the full story behind the Marauders and their map. Although Peter escaped again, the incident changed how Harry viewed Sirius and Lupin. Both became important figures in his life. The impact of the Marauders extended into the Second Wizarding War. Sirius Black was killed in 1996 during a battle at the Department of Mysteries. Remus Lupin died in 1998 during the Battle of Hogwarts. Peter Pettigrew was killed by his own magical hand in 1998 after hesitating to kill Harry. James Potter's legacy lived through Harry, who carried on the fight against Voldemort. The bond between the Marauders and their shared history became a significant emotional theme. The map they left behind remained with Harry and continued to be useful. The Marauders' map was unique. There is no known duplicate. It was never reproduced by the Ministry of Magic or Hogwarts. Despite its value, the map was not widely studied. This could be due to the illegal nature of some of the magic used in its creation. The map's ability to track individuals without consent raised ethical questions. It also revealed secret rooms and passageways that the school likely preferred to remain hidden. These reasons may explain why the map remained a secret and was not integrated into standard magical surveillance. Technically, the map displayed a mastery of spellcraft. It recognized disillusionment charms, animagus forms, and Polyjuice potion disguises. It responded only to the correct activation phrases and erased itself when commanded. The fact that it never malfunctioned or gave false readings speaks to the quality of its construction. Its durability over many years and across multiple owners is also notable. The Marauders themselves are remembered as both rule breakers and heroes. Their behavior at school included bullying, particularly by James and Sirius towards Severus Snape. However, their later actions in the war against Voldemort redeemed their reputations. Lupin's condition and his efforts to live with dignity gave a face to the struggles of magical illness. Sirius's time in Azkaban and his eventual escape made him a symbol of resilience. Peter Pettigrew's betrayal marked a lesson in trust and consequences. In terms of magical education, the Marauders map is not part of any known curriculum. It has not been replicated or studied in detail at institutions like Hogwarts or the Department of Magical Law Enforcement. This may be due to the complexity of its enchantments or the legal restrictions on some of the magic used. Its ability to reveal information without permission has prevented its wider adoption. As of the most recent information, the map remains in Harry Potter's possession. There is no public record of it being donated, destroyed, or used in any official capacity. The final status of the Marauders is documented in multiple official sources. James Potter was killed at age 21. Sirius Black died at 36. Remus Lupin died at 38. Peter Pettigrew died at 38. Their lives were deeply affected by their experiences during both Wizarding Wars. Their creation, the Marauders' map, stands as the most lasting symbol of their friendship and magical skill. It reflects the intelligence and ambition they possessed as students and the legacy they left behind. In conclusion, the Marauders map and the lives of its creators represent a significant chapter in the history of Hogwarts and the wizarding world. The map functioned as a powerful magical tool that provided strategic advantage, historical insight, and emotional connection. It was built by 4 students who later became central figures in the fight against Voldemort. Their actions, both good and bad, shaped the events of their time. The map remains one of the most advanced examples of student-created magic and continues to serve as a reminder of the power of knowledge, loyalty, and legacy. The Ministry's hidden war against ancient bloodlines. The Ministry of Magic was established in 1707 and has served as the governing body for the British wizarding population. Its main function is to regulate magical law, protect the secrecy of the magical community, and manage relations between magical and non-magical populations. Over the centuries, the Ministry has implemented a wide range of laws and institutions. Some of these were created for public safety, while others were influenced by political interests. One of the lesser-known but historically significant aspects of the Ministry's governance involves its actions toward certain magical bloodlines. These bloodlines were associated with powerful, ancient magic, and in some cases, political independence. The relationship between the Ministry and these families has often been marked by control, suspicion, and suppression. The concept of pure blood, half-blood, and Muggle-born became increasingly relevant in magical society during the 19th century. However, the roots of bloodline significance date back to the founding of magical institutions such as Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. The founders themselves came from powerful magical lineages. Salazar Slytherin in particular emphasized the importance of magical heritage. His views influenced later generations and created a division between those who valued magical purity and those who believed in equal access to magical education. As the Ministry developed its authority, it began to monitor families known to possess rare magical abilities or ancient ties to magical history. These included families such as the Gaunts, the Blacks, the Malfoys, and the Lestranges. The Gaunt family was descended directly from Salazar Slytherin and maintained that connection for generations. They lived in isolation and preserved their bloodline through intra-family marriages. This led to mental instability and poverty by the 20th century. Morfinn Gaunt and his sister Merope Gaunt were the last known members of the family before its collapse. Merope was the mother of Tom Marvolo Riddle, later known as Lord Voldemort. The Ministry was aware of the Gaunts' connection to Slytherin, but did not intervene in their decline. When Morfinn was arrested for hexing a Muggle, the case was handled quietly by the Department of Magic Law Enforcement. The Ministry did not investigate the family's history further, nor did it provide oversight of their use of the Parseltongue ability or their possession of Salazar Slytherin's ring, which later became a Horcrux. The Black family was one of the most prominent pure blood families in Britain. Their motto, Toujours Pur, reflected their belief in magical superiority. They were involved in political and social matters and held positions of influence. However, their internal conflicts and their ties to dark magic attracted the attention of the Ministry. Several members of the family, including Bellatrix Lestrange and Sirius Black, had opposing relationships with the government. Bellatrix was imprisoned for her crimes as a Death Eater, while Sirius was imprisoned without trial under the assumption of betrayal and murder. The treatment of Sirius reflected the Ministry's readiness to act decisively against individuals connected to ancient bloodlines when political pressure was high. No thorough trial or magical verification was conducted at the time of his arrest in 1981. The Malfoy family was another influential bloodline with connections to both politics and traditional magical society. Lucius Malfoy served on the Hogwarts Board of Governors and maintained close relationships with ministry officials. Despite his involvement with Voldemort during the First and Second Wizarding Wars, he avoided imprisonment by claiming coercion. The Malfoys retained their wealth and influence even after the fall of Voldemort. However, they were monitored closely by the Ministry, especially during Cornelius Fudge's administration. Draco Malfoy, who was a student at Hogwarts during the rise of Voldemort, became indirectly involved in the conflict due to his family's association with Death Eaters. The Lestrange family, through marriage and blood ties, also belonged to the network of ancient magical families. They were known for their extreme views on magical purity and supported Voldemort's ideology. The Ministry acted against the Lestranges only after their crimes became public. Prior to that, the family had remained outside of scrutiny despite their reputation. Rodolphus and Rabastan Lestrange were imprisoned after the First Wizarding War. Their incarceration was part of a broader Ministry effort to distance itself from accusations of inaction. The Ministry's approach to ancient bloodlines has also been reflected in its legislation. The Registry of Magical Births and the use of magical blood status classifications allowed the Ministry to track heritage. These records were used during the Muggle-born Registration Commission, which operated under Dolores Umbridge during the height of Voldemort's control. While this commission was created under coercion, it used existing Ministry systems and policies. The collection of blood status information had been in place long before Voldemort's rise. The commission targeted Muggle-born witches and wizards, but was also based on the belief that ancient bloodlines had inherent magical value. Following the defeat of Voldemort in 1998, Kingsley Shacklebolt became Minister for Magic and led efforts to reform Ministry practices. He removed laws that discriminated based on blood status and initiated reviews of historical legal actions. However, the underlying structures used to track bloodlines were not fully dismantled. Scholarly research in the early 2000s indicated that many policies regarding magical education, employment, and marriage were still indirectly influenced by family background. The Department of Magical Education maintained records of student heritage at Hogwarts and other schools. These records included house affiliations, magical aptitude, and family history. While used for administrative purposes, they reinforced social divisions within the school. House rivalries and traditions often mirrored the views of the broader magical community. For example, Slytherin House continued to attract students from old magical families, while Muggle-born students were more likely to be sorted into Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, or Ravenclaw. During both Wizarding Wars, the Ministry struggled to balance law enforcement with political pressure. Its actions toward ancient bloodlines reflected this tension. In many cases, it failed to act against known offenders because of family reputation or influence. In other cases, it acted too quickly, bypassing standard procedures. The treatment of Sirius Black and the exoneration of Lucius Malfoy are two examples of inconsistent application of justice. The Ministry's failure to investigate the origins of Voldemort's power also highlights its reluctance to confront ancient magical legacies directly. The influence of bloodlines extended beyond Britain. International magical communities also recognized powerful families and maintained their own records. The International Confederation of Wizards maintained a list of high-risk magical individuals and families. Some bloodlines were known across borders due to their magical contributions or historical significance. For example, the Peveril family was known for possessing the Deathly Hallows. While their descendants were not tracked by the Ministry, the legend associated with their name contributed to ongoing interest in magical heritage. The preservation of magical objects linked to bloodlines was another area of concern. The Ministry collected and stored artifacts deemed dangerous or historically significant. Some of these included heirlooms from ancient families. The Department of Magical Artifacts maintained these items, but did not always disclose their origin. This secrecy led to speculation that certain families were being protected or monitored without public knowledge. Educational reform, after the Second Wizarding War, included updates to the history of magic curriculum. Teachers began to include more information about magical conflicts and the role of blood status in those conflicts. Students were encouraged to understand the impact of heritage without adopting discriminatory views. Despite these efforts, social attitudes remained divided. Many families continued to value pure blood status and arranged marriages within the magical community. This practice, while not illegal, contributed to the continuation of bloodline influence in magical society. In recent years, research by magical historians and journalists has revealed more about the Ministry's hidden policies. These include secret memorandums, internal investigations, and communications that suggested a sustained effort to monitor and influence ancient magical families. While not always malicious, these actions revealed a pattern of control that was rarely made public. These findings have contributed to debates about transparency and reform within the magical government. In conclusion, the Ministry of Magic has maintained a complex relationship with ancient magical bloodlines throughout its history. While it has worked to regulate magical society, it has also engaged in actions that reflect control and suppression of influential families. These actions include the imprisonment of family members without trial, the monitoring of magical heritage, and the use of blood status in policy decisions. Although reforms were made after the fall of Voldemort, many of the underlying systems remain in place. The Ministry's hidden war against ancient bloodlines highlights the ongoing struggle between tradition and equality in the magical world. Luna Lovegood's eyes see beyond the veil. What if the only person who truly understood what lies beyond death was someone everyone thought was strange? This question leads to the story of Luna Lovegood and her unique role in understanding magical phenomena that others could not. Luna Lovegood was born in 1981 to Xenophilius and Pandora Lovegood. She grew up in Ottery St. Catchpole, a village located in Devon, England. Luna's mother died in 1990 due to an accidental magical experiment. From that point, Luna was raised by her father. Her childhood was shaped by unusual beliefs, magical creatures, and a deep emotional loss. These factors influenced her perspective and behavior. Luna attended Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, beginning in 1992, and was sorted into Ravenclaw House. Luna became known for her eccentric behavior and unfiltered honesty. She wore odd clothing and believed in magical creatures that others considered imaginary. Despite this, she demonstrated high intelligence and strong observational skills. Luna's first appearance in the series occurs in Harry Potter's 5th year at Hogwarts. She joined Dumbledore's army, a student group formed to resist the actions of the Ministry of Magic. Luna's involvement in Dumbledore's army and the Battle of the Department of Mysteries showed her bravery and magical skill. However, her most important contribution came from her ability to perceive things others could not. This ability was most clearly demonstrated in her understanding of the veil located in the Department of Mysteries. The veil is a mysterious magical archway housed in the Death Chamber within the Department of Mysteries at the Ministry of Magic. It is an ancient magical artifact that appears as a stone archway with a tattered black curtain. The veil is silent to most people, but a few individuals report hearing whispers or feeling drawn toward it. The purpose and origin of the veil have never been fully explained. It is believed to be connected to the boundary between life and death. During the events of June 1996, several members of Dumbledore's army, including Harry Potter, Hermione Granger, Ron Weasley, Neville Longbottom, Ginny Weasley, and Luna Lovegood entered the Department of Mysteries. There they encountered Death Eaters, and a battle took place. In that battle, Sirius Black was hit by a curse from Bellatrix Lestrange and fell through the veil. He did not return. His death was confirmed by Dumbledore. Most of the group had no understanding of what the veil represented. However, Luna appeared to comprehend its function. She was calm and accepting of Sirius's death. Later, she spoke to Harry and explained that she had seen her mother die and that she believed death was not the end. This conversation showed Luna's deeper understanding of the veil. She did not claim to understand its mechanics, but she accepted its reality in a way others could not. Luna was also able to see Thestrals, magical creatures that pull the carriages to Hogwarts. Thestrals can only be seen by people who have witnessed death. Harry gained this ability after seeing Cedric Diggory die. Luna had seen her mother die years earlier and had been able to see Thestrals since her first year. This visual ability indicated a connection between Luna's experience of loss and her sensitivity to magical phenomena associated with death. Thestrals are skeletal horse-like creatures with leathery wings. They are not dangerous, but are often feared due to their appearance and their association with death. Luna's calm acceptance of them and her willingness to explain them to others further demonstrated her ability to engage with magical realities that others avoided. Her father, Xenophilius Lovegood, was the editor of The Quibbler, a magazine known for publishing unverified magical theories and odd stories. He encouraged Luna's unconventional thinking and her interest in rare magical creatures. During the events of the final book, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Luna was kidnapped by Death Eaters and held in Malfoy Manor. She remained calm and supportive of other prisoners during captivity. She was rescued by Dobby the house elf and later joined the resistance effort at Hogwarts. In the Battle of Hogwarts on May 2, 1998, Luna fought alongside her classmates and members of the Order of the Phoenix. She played an active role in the defense of the castle and helped Harry reach the Ravenclaw common room when he needed to locate the lost diadem of Rowena Ravenclaw. Her knowledge of Hogwarts history and her logical thinking contributed to the success of this mission. After the war, Luna became a magizoologist, a person who studies magical creatures. She married Rolf Scamander, the grandson of Newt Scamander, who authored the book Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. They had twin sons named Lorcan and Lysander. Luna's post-war life focused on magical research and exploration. Theories about Luna's connection to the veil suggest that her experience with personal loss and her belief in unexplained phenomena allowed her to approach death with clarity. Unlike other characters who feared or denied death, Luna observed it as a natural process. She did not treat the veil with fear or awe, but with understanding. This approach gave comfort to others, including Harry, who struggled with the loss of Sirius. Some fans theorize that Luna's calm behavior and her ability to sense magical patterns may be linked to a rare form of magical sensitivity, though this has not been confirmed in canon. The veil itself remains unexplained by any official wizarding source. The Department of Mysteries is known to study fundamental magical concepts including time, space, thought, love, and death. The veil is located in the Death Chamber, suggesting it is related to the study of what happens after death. There is no record of anyone returning after passing through the veil. It is treated as a final threshold. Some magical historians suggest that it predates the construction of the Ministry and may have been preserved as a point of observation rather than experimentation. The nature of the veil's magic has not been classified, and it does not respond to known spells or charms. Luna's perception of the veil did not rely on technical magical knowledge, but rather on emotional and psychological openness. Her ability to accept things without needing full explanation gave her an advantage in understanding complex magical truths. She was not dismissive of reason, but did not require full evidence before acknowledging the existence of things. This trait made her a unique presence among her peers and allowed her to function effectively in both combat and research situations. In official sources, including interviews with J.K. Rowling, Luna is described as one of the most spiritually aware characters in the series. Her acceptance of death and her insights into magical phenomena are not based on academic knowledge, but on life experience and empathy. She represents a viewpoint within the wizarding world that values observation, intuition, and calm acceptance over fear or denial. Luna's relationship with other characters also reflects her role as a stabilizing presence. She was accepted by members of Dumbledore's army despite her unusual behavior. Harry came to trust her insights and valued her support during times of grief. Hermione, although skeptical of Luna's beliefs, respected her courage and loyalty. Ron treated her with casual kindness and was surprised by her bravery. Neville Longbottom became one of her closest allies, and their shared experiences during the war built lasting trust. After the events of the series, Luna's contributions were recognized within the wizarding community. She continued to explore rare magical species and contributed articles to magical journals. She was not employed by the Ministry of Magic, but remained active in magical education through guest lectures and field research. Her work helped expand knowledge about magical creatures and their behavior. In summary, Luna Lovegood's understanding of the veil and her ability to see thestrals were the result of personal loss, emotional clarity, and magical sensitivity. Her presence in the series provided insight into how individuals process death and how magical perception is shaped by life experience. Luna's calm and logical approach allowed her to understand magical phenomena that others ignored or feared. The veil remains an unexplained artifact within the Department of Mysteries, but Luna's reaction to it revealed a way of engaging with death that was honest and without fear. Her legacy in magical history is defined by her courage, curiosity, and ability to perceive truths that others could not. The boy who lived was never alone. What happens when a child is marked by a prophecy before he can speak? What if his survival is not just because of fate, but because of the people and protections that surrounded him from the very beginning. The story of Harry Potter begins on the night of the 31st of October, 1981. Lord Voldemort, the most powerful dark wizard of the time, attacked the home of James and Lily Potter in Godric Hollow. His goal was to kill their infant son, Harry Potter. This attack was motivated by a prophecy made by Sybil Trelawney, which stated that a child born at the end of July would have the power to defeat the Dark Lord. Voldemort interpreted this to mean Harry, who was born on the 31st of July, 1980. When Voldemort arrived at the Potter home, he killed James Potter first. Lily Potter was offered a chance to step aside but refused. She died protecting Harry. This act of sacrificial protection triggered an ancient magical defense. When Voldemort cast the killing curse on Harry, the curse rebounded and destroyed his physical form. Harry survived with only a lightning-shaped scar on his forehead. This event made Harry famous throughout the wizarding world as the boy who lived. However, he was not alone in this event. The protection cast by his mother, the actions of Dumbledore, and the decisions of others shaped his path long before he understood them. After the attack, Harry was taken from the wreckage by Rubeus Hagrid. Under Dumbledore's orders, Hagrid flew Harry to Privet Drive. He was placed in the care of Vernon and Petunia Dursley, Lily's sister and her husband. This decision was based on a specific magical reason. Dumbledore explained later that by placing Harry in the home of a blood relative, the protection created by Lily's sacrifice would continue. As long as Harry could call that place home, the protection would shield him from harm. This arrangement lasted until Harry turned 17. During that time, Harry lived under the care of the Dursleys, who treated him poorly. However, the magical protection remained in place. At Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, where Harry began studying in 1991, he made connections that supported him continuously. Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger became his closest friends. Ron came from a large wizarding family and introduced Harry to wizarding culture. Hermione, born to Muggle parents, brought strong intellect and dedication. The trio formed a partnership that solved mysteries, broke school rules when necessary, and stood against threats. Their alliance proved essential during all major events, from the Philosopher's Stone to the final battle at Hogwarts. From the first year, Harry was monitored and guided by several key adults. Albus Dumbledore, headmaster of Hogwarts, took a particular interest in Harry. He arranged for Harry to receive the invisibility cloak that once belonged to James Potter. He also provided indirect assistance and limited information regarding Voldemort. Professor McGonagall ensured Harry was placed in Gryffindor House. Professor Snape, though appearing hostile, protected Harry due to a promise made to Dumbledore in memory of Lily Potter. These connections demonstrated that Harry was always under observation and aid. Each year at Hogwarts revealed more evidence that Harry was never alone. In his first year, he stopped Professor Quirrell from stealing the Philosopher's Stone with help from Ron and Hermione. In his second year, he uncovered the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets and defeated the Basilisk, again with help. Fawkes, Dumbledore's phoenix, provided the sword of Godric Gryffindor. In the third year, Harry discovered the truth about Sirius Black, who was his godfather and had been wrongly imprisoned in Azkaban. Remus Lupin, a former friend of his parents and his professor, also became a mentor. Together with Sirius, Lupin provided Harry with information about his parents and the past. The The Triwizard Tournament in the 4th year placed Harry in significant danger. Even though he was entered into the competition against his will, he was supported throughout by Hermione, Ron, and professors such as Moody, who was actually Barty Crouch Jr. in disguise. The events of the tournament led to the return of Voldemort. Cedric Diggory was killed, and Harry escaped only with the help of the spirits summoned by the Priori Incantatem effect. Once again, the actions of others played a role in his survival. In his 5th year, Harry formed Dumbledore's army, a student group to learn defense against the dark arts. His teaching helped other students prepare for the challenges ahead. Although the Ministry interfered with Hogwarts by placing Dolores Umbridge as headmistress, Harry's group resisted. The death of Sirius Black in 1996 deeply affected Harry, but he continued to receive support from friends and the Order of the Phoenix. The Order was a secret group led by Dumbledore to oppose Voldemort. Members included Arthur and Molly Weasley, Nymphadora Tonks, Alastor Moody, and Kingsley Shacklebolt. Their efforts ensured Harry's safety and kept him informed of the war's developments. During the 6th year, Dumbledore began preparing Harry for the final battle. They studied Voldemort's past and searched for Horcruxes. A Horcrux is a dark magical object containing part of a soul. Voldemort created several to achieve immortality. Dumbledore and Harry retrieved one Horcrux, the locket, from a cave. Dumbledore died shortly after, killed by Severus Snape as part of a planned arrangement. His death marked a turning point. Harry decided to leave Hogwarts and continue the mission with Ron and Hermione. During the events of the Deathly Hallows, Harry traveled across the country in search of Horcruxes. He received help from the portrait of Phineas Nigellus Black, the house elf creature, and various allies. The trio destroyed the locket, the cup, the diadem, and eventually the fragment of Voldemort's soul inside Harry. They also used the Sword of Gryffindor, which absorbed basilisk venom, making it effective against Horcruxes. Neville Longbottom later used the same sword to kill Nagini, the final Horcrux. At the Battle of Hogwarts, which occurred on May 2, 1998, Harry returned to the school. He coordinated with professors, students, and members of the Order of the Phoenix. The battle involved many characters, including Minerva McGonagall, Phileas Flitwick, and Pomona Sprout. Voldemort's forces included Death Eaters, giants, and Dementors. Fred Weasley, Remus Lupin, and Nymphadora Tonks were killed. Harry sacrificed himself in the Forbidden Forest, but survived due to the protective magic lily left in his blood, which continued to live in Voldemort through the use of Harry's blood during the resurrection ritual in 1994. After Voldemort's final defeat, Harry did not claim the Elder Wand's power. He used it to repair his original wand, and then returned the Elder Wand to Dumbledore's tomb. He continued his life without seeking further power. He married Ginny Weasley and had 3 children. He became an Auror and helped reform the Ministry of Magic. The events of his life and the outcome of the war were not the result of isolated actions. They were shaped by the consistent support of others, by magical protections, and by decisions made by adults years before. Throughout the series, magical connections played a central role. The bond between Harry and Voldemort, the loyalty of Dobby the House Elf, the influence of the Marauders map, and the assistance of the Sword of Gryffindor all point to a larger system of aid and cooperation. Even in moments where Harry acted alone, he carried the knowledge, tools, and relationships built over years. His role in the prophecy may have made him the chosen one, but he fulfilled that role with help at every stage. In conclusion, the idea that Harry Potter stood alone against Voldemort is not supported by the historical events. From his infancy through his final battle, he was surrounded by protections, allies, mentors, and friends. The prophecy may have named him, but his success was the result of collective action and shared sacrifice. The magical world recognized him as the boy who lived, but the truth is that he was never alone. The record of events shows a continuous pattern of intervention, guidance, and assistance. Harry's story is a reminder that even in the face of individual destiny, cooperation and support remain essential. The Horcrux that shouldn't have existed. What if a magical object was created by mistake and became the most dangerous part of a powerful dark wizard's soul? This question leads to the study of a Horcrux that was never planned. This Horcrux changed the fate of the wizarding world and forced a young boy into a life shaped by decisions he did not make. The concept of a Horcrux is introduced in the wizarding world through Tom Riddle, who later became Lord Voldemort. A Horcrux is a dark magical object used to store a portion of a wizard's soul. It allows the wizard to survive physical death by anchoring part of their soul to the earth. The process of creating a Horcrux involves murder. This act splits the soul and makes it possible to store it in a chosen object using a specific dark spell. The spell used is not explained in any book or official document due to its dangerous nature. Tom Riddle first learned about Horcruxes as a student at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. In 1943, while in his 5th year, he asked Professor Horace Slughorn about the process. Slughorn gave a partial explanation. Years later, Albus Dumbledore acquired a memory of this conversation, which confirmed that Riddle wanted to create multiple Horcruxes. He planned to split his soul into 7 parts, believing that 7 was the most magically powerful number. Voldemort successfully created 6 Horcruxes. These were the diary of Tom Riddle, Marvolo Gaunt's ring, Salazar Slytherin's locket, Helga Hufflepuff's cup, Rowena Ravenclaw's diadem, and Nagini the snake. However, a 7th Horcrux was created unintentionally. That 7th Horcrux was Harry Potter. The event occurred on the 31st of October, 1981, in Godric's Hollow. Voldemort attempted to kill Harry, a 1-year-old child. He used the killing curse. However, the spell backfired due to the protective magic caused by Lily Potter's sacrifice. The curse destroyed Voldemort's body. In that moment, a part of his soul broke off and attached itself to the only living being in the room. That being was Harry. This was not a planned act. Voldemort did not intend to create a Horcrux that night. As a result, Harry became a container for a piece of Voldemort's soul. This made him a living Horcrux. It gave him abilities linked to Voldemort, including the ability to speak Parseltongue and a mental connection that allowed shared thoughts and visions. The existence of this accidental Horcrux was not known to anyone for many years. Harry experienced strange events throughout his childhood. These included seeing into Voldemort's mind and feeling pain in his scar when the Dark Lord was near. Dumbledore suspected something unusual but did not confirm the truth until Harry's 5th year. After the battle at the Department of Mysteries and the death of Sirius Black, Dumbledore began to share more details. He explained that Harry's connection to Voldemort was different from anything he had seen before. During Harry's 6th year, Dumbledore confirmed Harry was a Horcrux. This fact changed the plan to defeat Voldemort. All of the other Horcruxes had to be destroyed before Voldemort could be killed. This included the diary, which was destroyed in 1993 by Harry using a basilisk fang in the Chamber of Secrets. The ring was destroyed by Dumbledore in 1996 using the Sword of Gryffindor. The locket was destroyed by Ron Weasley in 1997. The cup was destroyed by Hermione Granger using a basilisk fang. The diadem was destroyed by Vincent Crabbe's Fiendfire. Nagini was killed by Neville Longbottom using the Sword of Gryffindor during the Battle of Hogwarts. The last Horcrux was the piece of soul inside Harry. In 1998, during the final battle, Harry understood that he had to die in order to destroy the Horcrux within him. He went to the Forbidden Forest, where Voldemort was waiting. Voldemort used the killing curse. The curse destroyed the part of his soul inside Harry, but did not kill Harry. This was possible because Voldemort had used Harry's blood in his resurrection ritual in 1995. The shared blood allowed Harry to survive the killing curse. After the destruction of the Horcrux inside him, Harry returned to the physical world and continued to fight. The destruction of the Horcrux inside Harry marked the end of the soul fragments. After this point, Voldemort was mortal and vulnerable. He was killed during the final duel with Harry in the Great Hall. The Elder Wand, which Voldemort had tried to use, did not truly serve him because it was loyal to Harry. Voldemort's death was final. There were no surviving pieces of his soul left. The creation of a living Horcrux was a rare and unintended event. There are no other known examples in wizarding history. Horcruxes are typically created using objects. The use of a living being carries additional risks. The soul fragment inside Harry caused long-term effects. It influenced his thoughts, emotions, and dreams. The connection between Harry and Voldemort was a two-way path. Voldemort was unaware of this connection until late in the series. Once he discovered it, he used it to manipulate Harry by planting false images in his mind. The magical properties of the accidental Horcrux were consistent with those of the other Horcruxes. It anchored Voldemort's soul and prevented his death. It could be destroyed only by an act that ended the host's life or removed the soul fragment directly. The killing curse was the only spell strong enough to destroy the fragment without destroying the body. Dumbledore considered other options, but concluded that Harry had to die in order to defeat Voldemort. The presence of the Horcrux affected Harry's development. It contributed to his anger, his connection to snakes, and his ability to understand Voldemort's emotions. However, it did not control his behavior. Harry remained distinct from Voldemort and never acted on dark impulses. This fact was important in proving that he was not a danger to others. The soul fragment remained dormant for most of his life and became active only in times of emotional stress or magical exposure. After the war, the fact that Harry had once been a Horcrux became part of the historical record. It was included in official accounts of the Second Wizarding War. Magical scholars studied the event as a unique case. They used it to understand the risks of dark magic and the importance of magical protection. The use of Lily Potter's protective charm became a key subject in magical theory. Her sacrifice created a magical shield that protected Harry from Voldemort's spell and caused the Horcrux to form. This protection remained in Harry's blood until the end of the war. The Sword of Gryffindor played an important role in the destruction of several Horcruxes. It absorbed the venom of the basilisk, when Harry used it in the Chamber of Secrets. This made it a powerful weapon against dark magic. The destruction of the locket and Nagini using the sword showed its unique ability to overcome magical defenses. Basilisk venom was one of the few substances strong enough to destroy a Horcrux. Other methods, such as fiendfire, were dangerous and difficult to control. The unplanned nature of the Horcrux inside Harry has led to debate among magical theorists. Some believe that a soul fragment cannot attach itself without a deliberate spell. Others argue that the violence of the failed curse and the magical chaos in Godric's Hollow created the conditions for the fragment to latch onto Harry. The fact remains that no other case of accidental Horcrux creation is documented. The ethical implications of Horcrux creation are severe. The use of murder to split the soul is considered one of the darkest acts in magic. The creation of multiple Horcruxes by Voldemort showed a complete disregard for human life and the laws of nature. The accidental creation of the Horcrux inside Harry was a direct result of this dark path. It served as evidence of the unpredictable consequences of dark magic. The destruction of all Horcruxes restored balance to the magical world. It ended Voldemort's reign and allowed the rebuilding of institutions such as the Ministry of Magic and Hogwarts. Harry Potter continued to work in magical law enforcement and became head of the Auror Office. He played a role in reforming magical education and promoting ethical use of magic. The story of the Horcrux that should not have existed became a lesson in unintended consequences and the power of sacrifice. In conclusion, the accidental creation of a Horcrux inside Harry Potter marked a unique and dangerous moment in magical history. It occurred due to a failed curse and a protective charm that caused Voldemort's soul to fracture and attach to a living host. This Horcrux gave Harry unusual abilities and linked him to Voldemort in ways that influenced the outcome of the war. Its destruction was essential to defeating the Dark Lord. The event is studied as an example of the risks of dark magic and the resilience of magical protection. The Horcrux that should not have existed changed the course of history and remains one of the most important elements in the understanding of magical warfare and soul magic. Hogwarts remembers what magic tries to forget. What happens to a place that has seen centuries of secrets, wars, deaths, and spells? Can its walls truly forget what people try to erase from history? The history of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry began over 1,000 years ago. The school was founded by 4 powerful witches and wizards. They were Godric Gryffindor, Helga Hufflepuff, Rowena Ravenclaw, and Salazar Slytherin. The school was built in a remote area of Scotland. The founders selected the location for its seclusion and its magical strength. They agreed to educate young witches and wizards in all known branches of magic. The school was divided into 4 houses, each representing one founder and their values. Gryffindor valued bravery, Hufflepuff valued loyalty, Ravenclaw valued intelligence, and Slytherin valued ambition and pure magical blood. As the school developed, it began to store knowledge that was passed down from generation to generation. Spells, magical theory, potion making, history, and transfiguration became formal subjects. Over time, Hogwarts became more than a school. It became a repository of magical memory. It witnessed events that shaped the entire wizarding world. Some of these events were celebrated. Others were hidden, erased, or ignored. The building itself, through its enchantments and preserved spaces, retained evidence of these events even when wizards tried to forget them. One early event the school did not forget involved the Chamber of Secrets. Salazar Slytherin, unhappy with the school admitting Muggle-born students, built a hidden chamber. He placed a creature inside it that would one day be used to purge the school of students he considered unworthy. The other founders were unaware of the chamber's exact location or purpose. The legend of the chamber was passed down, but dismissed by many. In 1942, Tom Riddle discovered the entrance to the chamber. He opened it and used the creature, a basilisk, to attack students. One girl, Myrtle Warren, was killed. The school was almost shut down. Riddle framed Rubeus Hagrid to cover his actions. The chamber was closed again and remained hidden. In 1992, Harry Potter reopened the chamber and defeated the basilisk. The school had preserved the secret of the chamber for 50 years. Even then, it did not reveal everything. The tunnel system, magical locks, and enchanted carvings remain untouched by time. Another space that held history was the Room of Requirement. This magical room changed its form based on the needs of the person entering. It was used in different ways over the years. Dobby the house elf used it to heal Winky. Dumbledore's army used it to train students. During the Battle of Hogwarts, it was used as a passage between Hogsmeade and the castle. It also stored old magical items and artifacts that students had hidden over the centuries. This room revealed that Hogwarts retained the possessions, actions, and secrets of its inhabitants, even when they tried to discard or hide them. The Forbidden Forest near the school grounds has also remained unchanged. It housed magical creatures such as unicorns, centaurs, thestrals, and acromantulas. Students were forbidden from entering it without permission. Despite this, many important events occurred there. Harry Potter saw Voldemort drinking unicorn blood. Hagrid kept his half-brother Grop hidden there. The centaurs monitored the area and intervened during the Battle of Hogwarts. The forest preserved the ancient magical balance that existed long before the school was built. Its creatures remembered events that were not written in any book. The ghosts of Hogwarts also serve as a memory system. The Grey Lady, Bloody Baron, Fat Friar, and Nearly Headless Nick were all former witches and wizards who had connections to the school's past. The Grey Lady was Helena Ravenclaw, daughter of Rowena Ravenclaw. She revealed the location of her mother's lost diadem, which had been turned into a Horcrux by Voldemort. The Bloody Baron was in love with her and killed her in a rage before killing himself. These ghosts could not forget what happened, and their presence served as reminders of the stories not told in the classrooms. The portraits in the headmaster's office also served as a form of magical memory. Each former headmaster or headmistress could continue to speak and offer advice through their portrait after death. Albus Dumbledore's portrait gave information to Snape and Harry. Phineas Nigellus Black's portrait passed messages between locations. These portraits knew the history of the school and the actions of their successors. They remained in place after the death of their subjects, ensuring continuity in knowledge and strategy. The castle itself held enchantments and secrets that could not be removed. The Marauders map, created by James Potter, Sirius Black, Remus Lupin, and Peter Pettigrew, showed the true layout of the castle. It revealed hidden passages and the real-time movements of people. This map was not part of the school's official tools, but was made possible by the founders' magical architecture. It showed that Hogwarts retained its shape and its secret roots across generations. During the First and Second Wizarding Wars, Hogwarts became a battlefield. In 1998, the Battle of Hogwarts caused major damage to the structure. Several students, teachers, and magical creatures died. Fred Weasley, Remus Lupin, Nymphadora Tonks, and Colin Creevey were among those killed. The castle was defended by professors including Minerva McGonagall, Felius Flitwick, Horace Slughorn, and Pomona Sprout. The statues and suits of armor were animated to fight. The Room of Requirement was destroyed by fire during the battle. Despite this, Hogwarts was repaired and reopened. The damage, however, was not forgotten. The names of the fallen were remembered, and the impact of the war was integrated into the teaching of magical history. After the war, Kingsley Shacklebolt became Minister for Magic. He supported the reconstruction of the school and reforms in education. Hogwarts continued to teach future generations, but also incorporated lessons from the wars. Students were taught about the dangers of magical prejudice, the importance of resistance, and the need to preserve magical truth. Magical history classes were updated to include recent events. The use of magical memory spells such as Obliviate could remove individual memories, but Hogwarts could not be made to forget. The enchanted walls, preserved objects, and magical traces recorded events as they happened. The castle reacted to intentions. When Voldemort tried to summon Harry Potter through the Hogwarts grounds, the school protected him. When students organized against the Ministry's interference during Dolores Umbridge's time, the Room of Requirement allowed them to act in secret. When the Chamber of Secrets was opened again, the school responded with alerts and protections. These reactions were not just the result of enchantments, but the accumulation of magical history layered into the school. The presence of magical objects also reflected the memory of the school. The Sorting Hat once belonged to Godric Gryffindor. It was enchanted to sort students into houses. It remembered the founders and retained their values. It warned about division during the Second Wizarding War. The Sword of Gryffindor, hidden within the hat, appeared to those who showed true bravery. This sword absorbed properties of substances it touched, including basilisk venom, making it useful for destroying Horcruxes. These items functioned as tools and as carriers of history. The goblets, books, paintings, and even staircases within the school functioned under ancient spells. The Forbidden Corridor that protected the Philosopher's Stone in 1991 was created with multiple layers of magical defense. Each teacher contributed a protection. This included logic puzzles, potions, enchantments, and magical creatures. The design showed how the school could adapt and defend objects over time. Even temporary events left permanent marks on the castle. The Triwizard Tournament in 1994 included challenges that altered school grounds. The Black Lake, the Quidditch Pitch, and the Forbidden Forest were all modified. Although restored afterward, the school recorded every use of its land and resources. In conclusion, Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry has preserved centuries of magical history. It holds physical evidence of past events, magical artifacts, enchanted spaces, and non-human residents that remember everything. It cannot forget what happened within its grounds. Even when the magical world tries to move on, the school retains the memories through its structures, objects, and enchantments. Hogwarts is more than a place of education. It is a living archive of magical history. Every event, from founding disputes to final battles, has left a trace. The school continues to teach not only spells and theory, but also the history that magic itself tries to erase. And that's it. Hope you're in peace. Just consider subscribing, because sleep matters. Just then, stress scatters, and nothing else matters, right? Peace out.